the weather is absolutely gorgeous.
Yep.
Well, it stays now.
The cloud.
We go this way.
Walter, he doesn't have a ball spot.
Normally I look a little bit better, but...
Well, make it look good. Yeah. But if you look fine, I think it'll do it. She didn't have to do much, I'm sure.
If I could just do a little
Oh, well,
side,
we'll
that would be fine.
Meanwhile, you can sit down and
That's good.
Okay.
There. Sure, that's all right.
Why don't you sit here? We don't want the cameras to pick up, make up.
No,
Directly? Just like that? Hey,
Look at that. Keep on seated.
No housing, no transportation. Their economy, their infrastructure is flat, just flat.
Yeah. Käykö meille? Okay, fine. Well, welcome to bit rainy Finland. But this is not your first time here, or?
No, I was here first time in 1946 on my way into Moscow, to Russia, as United Press correspondent there, press service. And I've been back a couple of times since, but never for a long enough stay.
Yeah. You're making a TV program here. Do you still work a lot?
I work more than I ever intended to in the so-called retirement. I work quite a lot. I find it very difficult to say no when people bring interesting assignments to me. And the advantage I do have is that I pick and choose my own assignments now. Nobody sends me anywhere. But this was a particularly interesting project, telling the story of Scandinavia, and I couldn't resist it.
Yeah. So a newsman is always a newsman.
I think so, yeah.
And I guess you still follow news a lot.
Oh yes, I've just recently started a new program of my own in the United States. I have my own production company, and we're producing several programs, but one of them is one that we call, for want of a more imaginative title, the Cronkite Report, in which we do serious subjects for an hour or an hour and a half documentary. And that keeps me traveling too, and keeps me interested in current events.
Yeah. This modern news service, it includes satellites, computers, portable phones, etc. How do you see this? Is it good or bad?
Well, all of the technical assistance has made it possible to do a better job, obviously, of television reporting. We can get to the scene faster with lighter equipment. Satellite transmission permits us to broadcast from practically anywhere with the portable sending units. It's really a remarkable situation. I think one thing that isn't mentioned very often is that thanks to facsimile transmission and computer modems, the reporter on the scene can get a lot of information flowing in from outside that he never had before. Before we used to have to report blind. We didn't really know what was happening in the rest of the world. But today you get all the latest information just before you go on the air. So this has made a major difference in improving the report around the world. The only problem is that we are so good today, so smooth in television news, that I'm afraid a lot of people get all their news from us where they should have to go to some print newspapers and magazines to fill out the full story.
Yeah, but some people think that there's a danger in this modern news service, that people know little about everything, but not much of anything.
That's exactly true. It's exactly true, and it's gotten even worse, I think, around the world lately, in that the news, there's a lot of it, and still not a lot of time is given to it. And documentaries have sort of faded from popularity, at least in the United States, to the degree we're not getting the background information we used to get from television. So people are just getting headlines. They're getting their impression from a headline. They really must go to print to fill out the story.
Yes, and the last question. your wishes to somebody watching this who wants to become a good journalist or even a good news anchor?
Oh, I'd say by all means, if anybody of intelligence wants to get into journalism, they ought to get into it. It's the most exciting, most rewarding life I can think of. It doesn't matter what the medium is. I tell young journalists in the States who want to study journalism, they want to know, should I go into radio, should I go into television, what's television going to be with cable, should I be in print? And I tell them, don't worry about that. Learn to be a good reporter. Learn to observe, learn to ask the right questions, learn to write. And there'll always be some means to circulate that information. We're never going to be without news. And there's a future in it for anybody who wants to undertake it.
Yes, and people always need news.
They need it, then they're going to demand it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Otatko vielä laajat nopeasti tuosta?
Right.
And for me as an anchor, a young news anchor, it would be a pleasure to have your signature.
Certainly, of course.
And even dedicate it to me.
Right.
I can, yes, for...
I'd write your name here,
Yes.
except I can't ever understand a Finnish name
Yes.
when it's spoken to me.
I'm one of the youngest news anchors.
Oh, that's a fairly simple name by most Finnish standards.
Otatko semmoisen laajan, minkä voi käyttää välikuvana? Joo. Joo. Tän jälkeen varmaan, kun hän antaa sen mulle.
What's the date today? The 19th?
19th, yes. Thank you. Great pleasure.
Sure. Let me have the card, man.
Yes, please.
Okay.
I wish you a nice staying here.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank you.
For
Thank
these 2 days.
It's a good one. We're enjoying it immensely.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.